Most people don't realize your daily habits are quietly broadcasting your intelligence level to everyone around you. Psychology has long studied the link between everyday behavior and cognitive ability. And what researchers found is fascinating. It's not your vocabulary or your job title that reveals how sharp your mind is. It's the small, repeated patterns in your daily life. The ones you never think about. The ones that feel automatic. Today, we're breaking down 7 everyday habits that psychology links to lower cognitive functioning. And here's the surprising part. Most people with these habits have no idea they're doing them. 1. Refusing to change your mind, even with new evidence. Psychology calls this cognitive rigidity. Studies suggest that people with lower cognitive ability tend to hold on to their beliefs more tightly. Not because they're confident, but because updating a belief requires mental flexibility. It takes real brain power to say, I was wrong. What this actually means is, the smarter the mind, the more comfortable it is with being corrected. If someone resists new information at every turn, it's rarely about loyalty to the truth. It's about the brain choosing comfort over complexity. 2. Never asking questions. Here's something most people don't notice. Individuals with higher intelligence ask more questions, not fewer. Research in developmental psychology shows that curiosity is one of the strongest indicators of cognitive growth. A habit of never asking why or how often signals a mind that has stopped seeking depth. It doesn't mean someone is unintelligent permanently, but it does reveal a thinking pattern that avoids challenge. And avoidance, over time, quietly dulls the mind. 3. Reacting emotionally to every situation. Emotional regulation is deeply connected to cognitive control. Psychology shows that the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for planning, reasoning, and impulse control. People who consistently react with anger, frustration, or panic over minor situations are often operating with a weaker connection between emotion and logic. This quietly reveals a brain that hasn't developed strong executive function. And without that function, decision-making becomes chaotic. 4. Avoiding all forms of mental effort. This one is subtle but powerful. Studies in cognitive psychology suggest that people with lower IQ scores tend to avoid mentally demanding tasks. Not because they can't do them, but because their brain perceives effort as more costly. It's called the need for cognition, and it exists on a spectrum. People low on this spectrum prefer shortcuts, surface-level answers, and easy entertainment. People high on it enjoy deep thinking, problem-solving, and intellectual discomfort. The habit of constantly choosing the easiest path isn't laziness. It's a signal of how the brain weighs effort against reward. 5. Talking more than listening. Psychology research on conversational intelligence shows something important. People with higher cognitive ability tend to listen more carefully before responding. They process. They reflect. Those with lower cognitive engagement often dominate conversations, not because they know more, but because pausing to absorb someone else's perspective requires working memory and mental patience. Here's the surprising part. The need to always speak first is often the brain's way of avoiding the harder task, understanding someone else's point of view. 6. Repeating the same mistakes without reflection. This is what psychologists refer to as a feedback processing deficit. Intelligent minds naturally review outcomes. They ask, what went wrong? What can I change? But when someone keeps walking into the same problems, same relationship patterns, same financial mistakes, same conflicts, it points to a brain that doesn't naturally loop back to evaluate. What this actually means is the issue isn't the mistake itself. Everyone makes mistakes. The habit that signals low cognitive functioning is the absence of reflection afterward. 7. Dismissing what you don't understand. This is one of the most revealing habits of all. Psychology shows that people with higher intelligence tend to feel curious when they encounter something unfamiliar. People with lower cognitive ability often feel threatened. So instead of exploring what they don't understand, they reject it. They mock it. They label it as stupid or useless. Most people don't notice this pattern in themselves, but it's one of the clearest behavioral markers psychologists observe. A sharp mind leans into confusion. A weaker one pushes it away. Now, if you recognize yourself in a few of these habits, don't panic. That's actually a good sign. Self-awareness is one of the strongest indicators of cognitive growth. The brain is not a fixed machine. It adapts. It rewires. It improves, especially when you start paying attention to your own patterns.